Hello everyone and welcome to round 16 of the ARL F3 Season 6 Championship. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix today. We're going around the Yas Marina circuit. I'm Matthew Gallagher and joining me, for the first time for F3 commentary, is Scott Woodwiss.
Thank you very much, Matty. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, of course, to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We are here at a circuit which is a very recent circuit, held its first race back in 2009, and it's a circuit that's quite rear limited. You've got a lot of long straights with heavy braking zones and a lot of stop-start chicanes here. So we're going to see, I think, some decent tyre wear, I think, and probably a decent strategy. Also, one of the only races, in fact, the only race on the calendar that starts in twilight and goes into darkness. So we're going to be seeing quite a unique setting here in the desert here, and hopefully should be a fantastic Grand Prix.
Should be a fantastic spectacle, Scott. I think they'll be going towards dusk by the end of the Grand Prix. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top and who can get to bed first. The Season 5 podium, iProX Callum took the win once again, with Matt 488 in second and Carpet Rug in third. Unfortunately, we had no data for the Season 5 pole position, but we do know that iProX Callum took it, as per most races we've seen so far. Let's head out to the track, but first, the qualifying report.
So here we are then with an F3 qualifying lap comparison between DC MagiK and its Tommyzz, who got first and third respectively. So anyway, as we're coming up to turn 1, they have not used any curves, which is surprising, but you want to take as tight a line as you can going into turn 1, then put the DRS on as soon as you can coming out of turn 1 as well, shutting it quickly going into turn 2, then coming into turn 3, so as close to the apex as you can, as its Tommyzz actually ran over it slightly. Coming to the first sector split, you'll see DC MagiK is yellow, so that means a bit slower, and its Tommyzz is purple. So that means he's quicker at the moment than first place. But anyway, as we're coming into the hairpin, we will slow it down here, and you'll see DC MagiK is getting a bit of a tighter line and slightly ahead. But anyway, as we come onto the back straight, you will see they're using their DRS straight away and as early as they can, and they're using half of their curves to get a good run onto the straight and hopefully get up to the limiter as quick as possible. As we're coming onto, I'm not sure what turn this is, but coming onto the very, very tricky chicane, which is easy to get corner cutting on. Break at 150 meter board and take a little bit of apex, but as you can see, its Tommyzz is slightly ahead at this point. Coming to the second part of the chicane, DC MagiK gets more of the curb, which is ideal for him to get a better run, but it can make the traction a bit worse coming off it. Anyway, as we're coming towards the end of the second sector, it'll be interesting if DC's made up any time or its Tommy has lost any. But as you will see, they're both purple, in fact, so they're very, very close to each other. DC MagiK running a bit wide there, as its Tommy's taking a bit more curve through the first part, and DC MagiK's taking a bit more curve through the second part. Its Tommy's loses its rear end on the way into that corner, and DC MagiK has a very, very good run through it. As we come around this corner, you keep DRS on flat out through it until we break for that. Whatever corner this is, I'm not actually sure. But DC MagiK takes a much tighter line than Tommy's, not cutting the corner whatsoever. Into these next phase of corners, you want to cut them as nicely as you can, but not make sure you still have two wheels on the track at all times. So as we're coming to the final complex of corners, you want to put DRS on here as quick as you can to get a great exit. And through the final corner, you want to take as little curve as you can to make sure you don't unsteady the car coming around for the lap of the Abu Dhabi circuit, which DC MagiK got 139.291 and its Tommy's got 139.818. And now handing over to the commentators.
Thank you very much, Cam, for that qualifying comparison. Now let's take a look at this afternoon's grid for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's DC MagiK on pole position, taking pole in the Williams by the minuscule margin of 0.07 of a second from Leo Bott in the Toro Rosso. It's Tommy puts it in P3 in the Sauber, with Craggles in the Ferrari, and P4 on row 2. Wrimz in P5 in the first of the Red Bulls, alongside the first of the prime tyre runners. That's Togomies in P6 in the Ferrari. The only other prime tyre runner to start is pelosgt in the Force Indy. He'll line up on row 4 in 7th, alongside EliteJoker in the second Williams. Row 5 sees Disco Rob in the second Sauber, alongside Wookie Pete in the second Red Bull. Defter Trout lights up 11th in the McLaren, alongside John B19, 2.3 seconds off the pace in the second Toro Rosso, with Trinity Stosh in the second Force India, and Sam 97 F1 not setting a time, rounding out the 14-car grid. Two non-starters today, Dude Where's My Jev in the McLaren, and Powerpuff in my Lotus. There's the 14-car grid. Now let's head out onto the track for this season's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're nearing the end of the season. It's round 16. It's xMattyG and Rapid Scorpion commentating on this lovely sunny day. And Scott, who's going to win?
It's going to be intriguing. Johnby 92 majorly out of position, but of course, as they race into dusk, the drivers are going to have the sunlight in their eyes. So they have to try and compete with that, but plenty of slipstreaming available. Here come the lights. Let's get ready to race.
And we've got 5 lights already. Let's go. We're racing with DC MagiK in first place, getting a decent launch from Leobot. Very close in qualifying between those two. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in this. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. DC getting through turn 1 nice and cleanly, with Johnby still down in 12th, so he hasn't made any positions up into turn 1. It looks like he's had a reasonable start, but nothing major. He hasn't used any curves either, so we're using it down the back straight, and he's already gained a place now from Wookie Pete up into 11th, moving to his teammate now, Leobot.
I did notice that John got boxed in behind Wookie and also the McLaren as well, so he's going to try and compare with that as well. Whoa! Huge contact. Togomies, someone into the side. I think that must have been pelosgt as they both take off to the runoff area, but that was quite frightening actually. Straight into the side of the Ferrari, unexpected. As a result, he lost several places now to Disco Rob as well. Here's a replay of that, and let's just watch here. So Togomies is driving along unexpected, all of a sudden down his inside. Bang! There it goes. And that must have been Pelos, because Wrimz got past pretty clean, and it is Pelos. Here he is on board. And just completely missed his braking point, and I'm not sure what was going on there, but that could have been such a huge accident. Thankfully, it wasn't more severe.
Yeah, I thought that you were in the car there, Scott, your reaction. But yeah, no, that was a very scary incident for Togomies. It's a good job he didn't actually land upside down, which could have easily happened. But pelosgt, who is probably the pace setter in this league, or supposed to be anyway, starting on the prime tyres, and I think he started down in 8th place, so he's going for a little bit of a challenge here today, but I'm not too sure. Maybe he's trying to do what Noble does in F1 and just provide himself with a little bit more of a interesting race, maybe. But yeah, he's had a very let's say I don't know, just a bit of a collision in turn, what was that, turn, I'm going to say off the top of my head, 5, and yes, I don't know what's happened there, but he hasn't received a penalty, which is crucial for his race, but so he can just carry on. He didn't have any front wing damage either, surprisingly, considering he smashed into the side of the Ferrari.
We've now got Elite Joker in for option tyres. So is this going to be, either he's lost his front wing, I'm not sure if there's any damage. I'll have to wait and see if there's one waiting with the pit crew. Yes, there is. So he did actually lose his front wing somewhere. Didn't see who it was on, who he lost it to, but the team gets to work and he's out again pretty slickly, but he's out at the back of the field. Now back and forth with Wrimz chasing after Togomies, who has recovered after that first up incident, and a huge oversteer moment from Wrimz. That's going to leave Def to Trout in the McLaren up the inside, which indeed he does. Wrimz tries to get the switch back and shuts him out on the exit. Brilliant driving from Wrimz to get it back. And into Rich Mix 3, using up all that curves to come down the back straight. This is going to be one of the DRS zones down here, with a lot of chances to overtake and lots of chances for slipstreaming, as they're going to reach over 300 clicks, almost 310 towards the braking zone at this section down towards turn 8. And Wrimz has just got the inside line, so Def to Track has to sit back for the moment, but he will get DRS, I'm sure, as they head down towards the sequence down at turn 11, 12 and 13. So here comes Def to Trout to the outside. He does have DRS, and he sails past on the outside. Let's see if Wrimz can beat him in the braking duel. And no, Def to, it's side by side for the moment, and Wrimz just again closed him out. I think Def's had to go over the AstroTurf from the inside, so great defense driving from Wrimz to hold on to P8 for the moment.
Yeah, Wrimz wouldn't have had, I don't think Trout would have had DRS, because it's only lap 2, unfortunately, but there is a double DRS for next lap. I just wanted to let you carry on, Scott, because it was a good battle, but yeah, there's no DRS that time. I was actually surprised that he managed to get such a good run. And who was that? Oh, that's how Joker lost his wing. That was a Force India flying across the corner and completely missing his braking zone, and that is Elite Joker's race. Pretty much it's Pelos again. So after hitting into Togomies, what's happened here? Oh no, it was his teammate. It was Trinciastar going straight over the corner, and there we go. We got a slow motion replay, and I'm actually surprised that Joker's lost his wing there, but then Pelos hasn't lost his wing to Togomies' side of the Ferrari. So interesting to see what the collisions are like around here, but clearly some are fortunate and some are not. I'll tell you who is fortunate. DC MagiK in first place at the moment, hasn't come across any sort of incidents apart from losing the back end now, and is Leobot going to go up the inside to take the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Here we go, up the inside of the penultimate corner. Leobot takes the lead, but DRS is active now, so I'm sure that DC MagiK will have something to say about that coming into lap 4.
Disco Rob running wide there as they entered the hotel section. Fantastic sequence of corners as he heads underneath the Abu Dhabi hotel, and Togomies runs wide, loses places to Disco and also to Wrimz and Defter, so he's lost 3 places in space of 1 corner. But speaking about the Force Indians, they possibly should have stayed home at Silverstone, because it really isn't their race so far. 2 laps and 2 incidents in the space of those laps, so this could be pretty intriguing. As here comes Tommy to the outside of Craggles. This is for P3. Can he try to get him on the switchback, trying to force him wide? A little bit over the curb, but Kraggles holds on to that final podium spot for the moment. And of course, DRS is now active as we are on lap 4 of 28. And they wind their way down towards the first of the very major chicanes here. One of the big braking zones for turns 5 and 6. Spot the curb on the left and the right again, and now down towards, again, first gear. Full lock almost. Around this 180-degree hairpin. And now traction here is key. As to get yourself onto the first of these long back straights and using all the curves is Tommy, and I think he will get DRS on the back straight now. Rear wing has popped open, and how much can he pull alongside the Ferrari? Answer is at the moment not very much, but can he get him under brakes now for turn 8? He closes, but Kraggle has that defensive line covered nicely. So through 8 and 9, and let's see what his run is now down the second back straight. This is where the international pits are, where they have the shorter support races or shorter, more national events. And down towards the complex at 11, 12 and 13. Kraggle's getting defensive on the outside, but Tommyzz can't find a way through. And this is also a key passing spot because you can try and get the switchback, and if you can hold on the outside, we've seen in real life Button and Vettel do that. Vettel with a super pass, one of the best overtakes of last season in Formula 1. So it's possible to pass there, but you need to position your car accordingly to pull it off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's lots of overtaking places around here, and I think most of the drivers will be thinking to try and get the move done in the second DRS zone rather than the first, because there are 2 detection points, meaning that if they do get past in the first DRS, then their opponent who they've just overtaken will have DRS on them for the second part. So there's no point. Just save a bit of curves so you can get a nice run out of turn 8 and 9, and then just make the position stick, and hopefully then throughout the rest of the middle and last sectors pull a gap so that the opposition cannot get back past on the next lap, as Tommyzz is still struggling to get past Kraggles and losing the back end through turn 1. So Kraggles may well be able to get away for a little bit and save himself into the DRS zones, as we're now on board with the leader Leobot in the Toro Rosso. I don't think we've seen Leobot lead this season, have we? And oh gosh, and they're showing that he hasn't led this season as he loses the back end. And these two, I don't think either of them really have led this season, have they, Scott?
I don't think they have, and what's a shame is that Leobot was just outside DRS range, so obviously DC MagiK wouldn't have gotten closer. This is a replay looking from Togomies. This is Disco Rob and Deftertone up the inside. That was a move by the Sauber on the McLaren. I'm not sure where Defter was going. Almost went to go across the AstroTurf and thought, no, I'll stay there. Look at John B19 forcing the McLaren wide, and Togomies losing place his hand over fist. There goes Sam and also pelosgt, and John's having to back off as well. There's an absolute caramellage of cars down at the back of the field. Not sure what on earth's going on, but some fantastic racing. And it goes on, because John B's trying to get past here. Deftertone trying to also get past pelosgt. And now we're back with life footage. This is Kraggles now majorly under pressure from Tommyzz once again. And once more, Tommy will have DRS using the rest of his curves to pull alongside on the exit of turn 9 and 10. And now down the back straight towards the complex. And with the easy DRS, that is Tommyzz up into P3. But it's Kraggles going to get him back on the inside into the complex. No, Tommy has the line. I didn't know he's trying to go down the outside. But Tommy, again, covers the line and holds on. So Sauber up into P3 for the moment. But into standard mix 2. So he feels he's got enough pace. But of course, the 2 cars in front have started to pull away. So Tommy's got a big task on his hands to try and catch up to the leading 2.
Yeah, DC and Leobot are both fighting up in first and second place, but they're still managing to pull a gap on the rest of the pack that are all fighting as well, when it seems like they're fighting a little bit too hard, because first and second are absolutely streaking away at the moment. You've got pelosgt, who probably is one of the fastest drivers in F3, on the prime tyre struggling, so I think the win is up for grabs for anyone at the moment, really. I mean, if these guys, 3rd, 4th and 5th, can really start to pump in some laps, I'm sure they'll be able to catch up to DC and Leobot, but they've really got to, as you can see there, Wrimz setting the fastest lap, so they're gaining at least some sort of margin, because oh no, as Kraggles runs wide through turn 1, because Wrimz is flying at the moment with a 44.2, and I think that really these guys just need to not battle too much, use the DRS to their advantage, and then close up to 1st and 2nd, and then they can fight, because there's no one else to catch. So we're still on board with Wrimz at the moment, following Kraggles, who seems to be struggling a little bit, maybe a little bit of tyre wear getting involved as in the Ferrari, which is known to understeer quite a bit. And we've now got Wrimz. Kraggles will have DRS on the car ahead of him, but Wrimz saving half of his curves for the exit of turns 8 and 9. So this could work well if he can be good under the brakes. Let's see. He's using DRS now. He's in the slipstream, but as Kraggles, as you can see, he's probably used all of his curves. But Wrimz, look at the amount he's closed up in the braking zone, missing the apex slightly. But now he'll have curves out of this corner, and let's see. Has Kraggles used up all of his curves? It looks like he has. Has he? Oh, he's just about gaining on him, but not enough. So it looks like that Toro Rosso has not got enough straight line speed going into the middle, the last sector.
I think you find it's a Red Bull, not a Toro Rosso, Matty.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Colourblind.
I know they look the same and they can't blame that. But here comes Wrimz up the inside on the exit of the complex, and I think Kraggles may have to yield slightly. But no, straight across the front of the Red Bull. That was rather cheeky from Kraggles, but forcing his authority on that one, saying, "Excuse me, Wrimz. I think you're going to have to find this is my place." Is back just behind. We've got now pelosgt watching Disco Rob and Sam 97 battle, and the Brazilians managed to get past the Irishman, with pelosgt trying to make his move now. So Disco Rob steadily falling backwards through the field. In fact, these guys are up to course 7th, 8th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th. So they are in points paying positions. And Disco looking as though he wants to try and get himself back past him, looking very racy indeed. But so is Pelos after his first lap incident with the Ferrari of Togomies. Wants to try and make up for any mistakes he's made and push forwards. There's a bit of a tail slide there from Disco Rob into the final couple of corners. And Pelos will see if he can get an advantage down the pit straight here. So, of course, he gets a 45.6. So he's about a second, 1.4 seconds off the fastest lap so far set by Wrimz. So not exactly one of the fastest guys today, but trying to get himself into a solid points-paying position, which he is right now in P8. He'll only get him 4 points. And back now with the man who has the fastest lap of the race, Wrimz. He's now continuing his pursuit of Kraggles. Drop back a little bit, but he's slightly outbraked himself into turns 5 and 6. That shows you just how hard he's pushing. Oh, and that's pushing too hard. And he's just clipped the barrier, lost an end plate of his front wing, and there goes Sam straight through into P5 and just holding off both Disco Rob and pelosgt. So Wrimz, fastest lap of the race, but of course it counts for nothing if you make mistakes like that.
Yeah, Wrimz may have just thrown away potentially a really good result because he was well and truly in the fight. If he could just stick with 3rd and 4th, that looked like they're just about maybe maintaining the gap to 1st and 2nd, as Wrimz is now under pressure from Pelos. So Pelos is pushing hard, but Wrimz, oh, nice driving from Wrimz. Great defensive driving there, considering his tyres are not going to be looking in the greatest of shapes. But now he's not going to have DRS, and both Disco Rob and Pelos, who both of them seem to give him a bit of a nudge on that straight end. Thank you very much, I'll have that position. But he's just lost both of those positions purely down to straight line speed and the use of DRS. And it looks like John's going to lose 2 positions as well here in the Toro Rosso, not the Red Bull. Wookie Pete is in the Red Bull, so don't worry, I'm really bad. But oh gosh, it's contact. Wookie Pete and John B. Wookie Pete facing the wrong way. John B driving off, but I don't think there was anything wrong with that. And Wookie now losing the back end again because he's got and again Wookie Pete putting a show on for whoever's standing around those barriers, and he still can't get the car under control. So I think Wookie Pete needs to calm down a little bit and get on the power a little bit later than what he's doing. And we've now got a replay on board with John B in the Toro Rosso, and we see Wookie Pete trying to hang it round the outside. And John could really do nothing about that, to be honest. And John gets a penalty, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets taken off. And Togomies decides to do a bit of flying.
I think he's trying to be City Bang Bang in that kind of case. He's trying to fly around. But on board with Togomies, now battling with Deftotones now. This is in the McLaren, the sole McLaren today. Deftotrout, sorry. I couldn't read it properly. It's all this the bright sky. They're trying to. I don't even know what I'm saying. Let's carry on. Anyway, Togomies to the outside of Deftotrout down towards turn 1. Deftotrout holds on for the moment, but he's run a little too deep. He's forced to switch back, which Togomies duly takes, and the Finn has got past into 9th position. Deft trying to get past back around the outside through turn 3. There's very high-speed sweeps here. One of the very few places where there are high-speed corners. Usually corners like this, turns 5 and 6. Lots of stop-start sections here. Lots of tight chicanes, lefts and rights, and hairpin turns. And it's one of those Tilke design tracks. Probably in terms of a race, not fantastic to watch, but to drive it's fantastic. It's a brilliant spectacle. As now we've got Deftones to the inside, and here comes John B as well. So I think we're going to go possibly 3 wide down the back straight towards turn 8. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? And John, look at the straight line speed of that Toro Rosso. 2 cars in 1 move. Incredible pass from John B19. That was brilliant driving to slot between both the McLaren and the Ferrari. That was absolutely incredible.
That was great driving from John B, and he was actually able to spot his braking point as well. He didn't get too excited over the fact he'd just taken 2 drivers in 1 straight, and it looks like he's actually streaking away a little bit from Togomies, who, I'm not going to lie, just driving on board with him here just seems like he's got so much understeer in that Ferrari. Obviously, he's driving in cockpit cam. Oh, we've got a bit of everything from race control. John B, yep, his penalty has been reversed, or will be reversed after the race, so John B can rest assured about that. But yeah, it seems like that Ferrari's got so much understeer. And I'm not too sure if it's the cockpit cam and not being able to see where the corners are, meaning that you just really can't get the right turn in, as Leobot drifts into the pits from 2nd place. So he was still well within DC MagiK and maybe still DRS, but he's decided to pit and get the undercut, and he's now going to come into his Toro Rosso pit box and change onto the Prime tyres. There's only 1 compound difference this time, so the Prime shouldn't be too different in terms of time difference compared to the options, but we shall see, as John B now diving into the pits, going a lot slower than sorry, who was it that just came into the pits?
Leobot.
There we go, Leobot came into the pits a lot slower than Leobot and didn't get a corner cutting warning, because it seems like there's a bit of a glitch going on with entering the pits and getting a corner cut for some reason. So John taking it very easily, doing a 2.875 pit stop and coming out just ahead of Def to Trout, was that?
He was. The McLaren boys went to work as well. Now board with Wookie Pete recovering from his earlier contact and spin up at the Turn 11 complex. And Disco Robbie's now on the inside on the exit of the Turn 7 hairpin, and now into Rich Mix 3. He's got plenty of curves left over, using it all up on the back straight into DRS range. Pop goes the wing, and when he goes to the inside, he's just going to draft past, and that Renault engine singing away on the limiter, 205 miles an hour, harder than the brakes, down to just 45 for the complex. It boggles the mind how quickly these F1 cars can, it's F3 cars, I should say, it's F3 class, but they're F1 cars, how quickly they can stop from 200 miles an hour down to 0. But Disco Rob giving Wookie Pete a taste of his own medicine with DRS down the back straight towards the complex. This is the area where Wookie had his accident before, collision with John B19. This time he's actually managed to keep it pointing the right way. And here comes Joker. Remember, Joker actually lost his front wing on the first lap after the collision with Trinity Stosh, so that's going to be pretty intriguing. But now, speaking of the Williams boys, this is his teammate DC Magic. Looks like he's going to enter into the pits. Yes, he does. So race leader DC Magic pits at the end of lap 11. Gets a warning for corner cutting, but that was only just due to try and get into the pits, as he now switches onto the prime tyres. So, of course, he'll have to run 16 laps on these prime tyres, which would be pretty intriguing. And he hits his stops. Williams boys go to work. On go the prime tyres. Pretty slick stop, 2.8 seconds, and away he goes. So good stuff, back into standard mix 2. And so now, looks as though Sam 97 F1, who did set the fastest lap of the race previously as a 1:43.9, I believe. Of course, into first, and of course into second place, I think. Let's have a look. Well, pelosgt now in P3, so he's out in P4. But I think the 3 cars in front have yet to pit, Matty.
Yeah, it seems like Leobot may have come into a bit of trouble, because he was only about a second or so behind DC. But looking back there, it seemed like it was more 3 to 4 seconds. As Wrimz in the Red Bull has a 5.4 second pit stop due to a front wing change after losing his end plate after having a little bit of a spin through turns 5 and 6. Thankfully, he didn't lose all of his wing, so he didn't have to make too early of a pit stop. And we're now on board with John B, hassling Wrimz, who is on those fresher tyres. And I think, oh no, John's pit as well, and he's always slightly hit Wrimz, I think, or lag bubbled anyway. We love that term. And he's had to let Wrimz back through. But John B hassling Wrimz now, so I'm pretty sure John B's just pitted, so this is fighting. I mean, after Wrimz' mistake, he was fighting for like 3rd or 4th, and now John B is right behind Wrimz and hassling him. What sort of lap time is John setting at the moment? It's not going to be particularly fast after he's just had to let Wrimz back through. As Wookie Pete is into the pits now. I think he's going to probably come out in last place. Yes, he is. 13 out of 13. That's not a great sight to see for a F3 driver, I'm sure. But he's still going to push on, and I'm sure there's still a few more people to pit, especially the man ahead of DC Magic right now, pelosgt. I wouldn't discount this guy, although he's pretty much a pit stop behind DC at the moment. The option tyres are quite quick round here, so it's going to be interesting to see when he pits, because Pelos won't want to pit too early, otherwise the options will fade away towards the end of the race.
I think John B19 is definitely coming to the conclusion that Abu Dhabi is not a happy hunting ground if he's outside the points at the moment and not looking, of course, even to get a podium or a top 5 right now, because, of course, he's made his pit stop, and I think he made a couple of mistakes. The only reason why he said a 1:45 was obviously because he had to let Wrimz back through after the lag bubble or the collision that he had down at the complex. And to watch DC Magic float over those curves one after the other, just glance at them one by one. Fantastic sight to watch. And now, of course, Pelos can go a few extra laps, probably for an extra, I'd probably say roughly around another maybe 3 or 4 laps, depending on how these tyres are feeling. And of course, they're both on the prime tyre. Of course, Pelos's have done 13 laps, whereas DC's have done about 2, so they should be up to full temperature, and they've got plenty more life in them. But of course, as you said, Pelos will be on that faster option tyre. And does Pelos peel off into the pits? No, he stays out for another lap, so he's confident on these tyres for the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. Now fast forwarding to lap 14. And back down at the complex again, and closing in on the Force India. Oh, and that's exactly the consequence of tyre wear, because that was oversteer moment on the exit of turn 13. And DC says, thank you very much, that's P2 for me. And also looks like Leobot's going to follow him through to take what's at the moment the final podium spot. Still waiting for Sam 97 F1 to make his pit stop as well. And now we switch with Leobot. This is now at the end of, I think we've forced forward about a lap and a half or so to lap 15. beginning of lap 16. They're on 43.4 from Leobot, so the Toro Rosso definitely the fastest man on track right now. And I think it's now, once Sam's got to pit obviously in the next couple of laps, but this is going to be a two-way fight for the victory.
Yeah, I've got to say actually, Sam is well and truly in the fight for the victory. Because he's probably about, I don't know, just looking at the minimap there, probably about 8 or 9 seconds ahead of current second place man DC MagiK, and he's going to be going on the option tyres. And this is a guy who started last, and he's got quite a bit of a gap at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see what his pace is going to be like when he puts on those options. He's probably going to come out around probably just ahead of, well, Pelos has pitted and he's in 4th, so I'm thinking he's going to come around. Oh no, has Pelos pitted? No, he hasn't pitted yet, sorry. So Pelos hasn't pitted yet, he just made that mistake. So he's probably going to come out around Pelos GT, and he's going to have fresh options. So I don't think the fight for first place is just between DC and Leo. I think Sam's going to have a shout if he can keep this pace up, especially now as he's got worn prime tyres. Hopefully he won't do a mistake like Pelos just had through this very tight chicane, and he just lost the back end, got on the power a little bit too early, and just couldn't save the car. It's very tricky after 16 laps on one tyre to save the car when it's going. When it wants to go round, it will go round. But Leobot still not within DC MagiK's DRS, which is very crucial because DRS is extremely powerful around here, especially being double DRS. And I think, as we've seen earlier on in the race with, I can't actually remember who it was, but I think it was it Wookie Pete who went past in the first DRS, but then got overtaken in the second. So that's what I don't think a lot of drivers will want to be doing, because then they can't keep the place. So Leobot setting the fastest lap of 42.5. He's pushing on to try and get in the DRS of DC MagiK.
And he's almost there. Look at that. He's 1.061. So just needs to get close by another 10th or so, and he will have the DRS heading down the back straight. So of course we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But a 42.25, a very impressive time, and he's going even faster right now. He's actually got himself within DRS. It's now the gap's now less than a second, so he will get his rear wing open once he goes across the activation point. And you can see he's pushing on using all of his DRS, and we've now got Pelos into the pits finally without a front wing. So what's happened here for Pelos? Hopefully we'll get a replay, but that's a front wing change for Pelos GT, and as well as a tyre change. But back to the front, and look at how much Leobot's closed in, obviously using the KERS, and also his DRS. He's going to get it a second time on the exit here of turns 8 and 9. Here he goes. Rear wing open. Wait for it. Now, there we go. And how much did he close in? Standard mix 2, saving a bit of fuel. Now he's in the slipstream. But up to 300 and... Oh, look at that. He's got a very long 7th gear. As Wrimz now pumps in a 142.496. And Pelos exits back into standard mix 2 in P9. In fact, just behind John B19, just slotting in between John B and Togomies. So that's worked out not too bad. But of course, Togomies, I don't think would like to see the sight of Pelos, because that's exactly the man that caused him to go off on the first lap right at the chicane they've just gone through. Yeah,
that's true, actually. Togomies will probably be thinking, how about I repay the favour? Well, no, he wouldn't. This is the ARL. We're very clean drivers. Pelos did that completely by missing his braking point. It was not on purpose at all. But I think Pelos could be looking at around 6th or 7th place here if he can dispatch a John B. But is he going to go past now? He is. He's going to have... Oh, no, he's not. Is he going to go on the inside? Yes, he is. John B gives him room. Pelos now side by side with John. John just about gets out of it. But now John will have DRS, so it depends. Oh, yeah, he's absolutely had a great exit out of that corner. And John B was nowhere. So Pelos up into 8th place. And I'm thinking he's going to absolutely smash the fastest lap on option tyres. So we'll see if it pops up purple anytime soon. But we're now on board with Leo, who's got so much understeer. And he's just trying to follow the Williams. But look at the amount that DC's pulled away just through him understeering through that corner. But he's actually gained quite a lot under braking. And he's going to have DRS easily. So let's see if Leo's going to decide to go past in this DRS detection zone or in the next one. So how much KERS is he using? About half? Oh no, he's going through the whole bar. So he's going to try and get as close as possible. I still don't think he's going to get up the inside of DC going into turn 8. But out of turn 9, I think he's going to have DRS and quite a good run maybe if he can get a nice... Is DC gone defensive? Slightly, so he's going to compromise his exit. And here we go, Leobot for the lead. The DRS is going to activate. DC's got a bit of KERS out of this corner, as you can see. He's pulling away, but Leobot's got DRS now. Is he going to go out the inside of the Williams, or is he going to try around the outside? Oh, because it didn't work out for Wookie Pete. Is it going to work out for Leobot up the inside now? DC leaving oh no, leaving room. But I think there's a little bit of contact maybe on his screen. Leobot cutting the corner slightly, so not too sure if there's going to have to be a handing back of position, Scott.
And also, one thing we've got to take into consideration, looking P3, San 97 F1, he's only 3 seconds away from these guys, and he is catching them bit by bit. So, we said Sam had some good pace on that prime tyre, and he had quite a huge lead before he came in. Now, here's on board with DC. Was there contact? Let's have a look on his screen. Yes, there was. So, that was purely a lag bubble. So, of course, DC will argue there was contact, but Leobot will say, well, I didn't touch you. So, that will obviously be a lag bubble. And this is Leobot's view. On his view, no contact. So, that was purely lag that caused that one. And of course Sam is only 3 seconds away, and we've actually lost Disco Rob, who has destroyed his vehicle, so he's out of the race now. And also look behind, there's San 97 F1, look at this, 141.6. As now race control said the incident between MagiK and Leobot will be investigated after the race, but for the moment our attention is focused to P2 because now Sam is looking very racy. He's 600s behind, he's literally pushing DC around the circuit here, down towards the hairpin, and I'm pretty sure he will definitely get DRS, of course, down the back straight. But look at, he's literally pushing him along down the back straight. Here comes Sam. This is potentially going to be getting himself into contention for the victory. DRS is open right now. MagiK is absolutely powerless, and Sam is now just going to power past on the outside. Look how much he's squeezing, just about leaving a car's length under the braking zone for turn 8. And will Sam go round the outside? He has to give him room, tries to get the switch back on the exit to get DRS in this second back straight, using all of his curves. Now, the DRS ring will open just a moment. There it goes, and back past goes MagiK. There's a pure example of what you said about there, Matty. Just, if you get past on the one straight, you can just let it go to get DRS on the second in the second zone. As Sam goes back up the inside, they're side by side in the complex. And DC just got his nose back in front, so brilliant driving from both cars. But whilst all this is happening, Leobot's 2.4 seconds up the road. He's absolutely running away with it.
It's great driving. Leobot, yeah, going away, but he's under investigation by the stewards. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. But I'm putting my money on Sam at the moment because Sam is absolutely flying. As you said, he is pushing DC around the track, saying, get out of the way. I'm so much faster than you. I've just done a 41.6. He has so much pace in that Lotus Renault. If he gets past DC, I think Leobot is going to be a sitting duck, as we've seen in a lot of real F1 races. I think Canada was it. I can't remember which year, but I know that... Who was it, Scott? Remind me. Do you actually remember? I think someone went onto option tyres and absolutely flew. It was Hamilton, wasn't it? In the McLaren. He did an extra stop and then just flew past Vettel and Alonso. And
yes,
I can't remember which year. Do you remember that, Scott?
It might have been 2010, because remember, that was the year when, of course, they were the last year of the Bridgestones before they came into Pirellis. But we'll talk about that in a second, because here comes Sam again, using his curves. And look at the straight line speed he's got. A small bit of wheel banging down towards the complex under brakes. Side by side again, and Sam trying to go around the outside. Well, you have to cut the corner. No, they both leave each other racing room, and again DC gets out in front. This is brilliant driving. Both cars are Renault powered, of course, but we've got the Williams Renault versus the Lotus Renault, and Sam must be is giving DC the huge hurry up here through this final section, and back up the inside into the complex underneath the hotel. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. DC's forced back onto the AstroTurf, and Sam obliged, he gives the place back, realises that he's done wrong, puts his hand up and says, there you go, DC, we're racing fairly here. This is ARL, as you said, Matty. So here they come once again. It's still got 6 laps to go, and now we cut on board with Wrimz, who's now battling away with, I think, pelosgt just behind him, I think. We'll wait and see, but this is fantastic racing, which it's obliged to do because the sun is starting to go down and we're coming into the dusk here, so hopefully none of these drivers will suffer from getting sun in their eyes anytime soon.
Sam is throwing away this victory if he is not careful. He is pushing DC so hard that he's actually just managed to force him off the track and then had to wait for him. Leobot is getting away, as you said earlier. He's probably about 5 seconds down the road now, and there's only 5 laps to go. So if Sam wants to win this race from the back of the grid, then he has got to get on it and get past DC MagiK on this lap in the DRS. Just think about it. Just don't go past in the first DRS, get past in the second, and then fly on your option tyres. That's what he should be doing. Is he going to go past him now? DC MagiK, he's going around the outside. Is he going to make it stick? No, DC hits the apex beautifully. So Sam now is going to have DRS finally for this second part. DC saved all of his curves, so Sam may be suffering on a bit of fuel problems. And actually he's nowhere. He's absolutely nowhere. He must have made a mistake out of the exit of that last corner. So it looks like Leobot is just going to just walk away with this now, because he's just gone. So DC, defending brilliantly, I have to say, is absolutely putting it on the line and holding second place. Let's have an incident involving DC MagiK and Leobot, plus 20 seconds. So who's that to? Is that to Leobot?
I can't work it out, to be honest. It must be, yeah, it must be Leobot.
There was contact between Leobot and... Yeah.
So that means, effectively, that the battle between this will mean the battle between DC and Sam is for the race victory. So Leobot's track position is irrelevant. And actually, here it comes. This is the net battle for the lead here. Side by side down the back straight. Here comes Sam once again. Hasn't really learned his lesson, but who cares? This is fantastic racing. Lap 24 of 28. Sam with DRS down the back straight. But again, DC saving pretty much all of his curves. Just a little bit down the first back straight. And again, staying in contention. All of his curves being used up once more. And once again, into DRS. And back through goes MagiK again on the outside. Back and forth. These two are providing some fantastic performance here for the Abu Dhabi fans and for us in the commentators. So Sam goes way wide over that. So they both go over the AstroTurf. Outbreaking each other. And Sam has to get the place back because he took it illegally. But also look at the fuel. DC MagiK is on optimal fuel at the moment. He's on rich fuel. And Wrimz is on -1 on standard fuel. So they're starting to run out here. But this is incredible fighting. And we've still got 5 laps left, Matty.
Yes, incredible race. And those guys don't even know that they're fighting for the lead. Can you imagine how hard they'd be fighting if they knew they were fighting for the victory? God help us all. But those two are absolutely going at it, hammer and tongs. It's great to see because these guys are racing very fairly. If they feel like they've hit the other one off, then they will wait for them. And there's no sort of stewards panels going on between those two. But unfortunately, Leobot, who has driven off and practically won this race, if he can keep it on the track for the next 4 laps, is going to lose it through the 20-second penalty that he's managed to gain, as it looks like there's contact between EliteJoker and Trout. I'm not too sure. Oh, he's got a penalty for that. I'm not too sure that's his fault, to be honest. Trout was losing the car already. I think EliteJoker's kind of given up anyway. I don't think he's getting any luck whatsoever. And we're now going back to the fight for the lead. DC MagiK and Sam. Sam going past again. He's not learned his lesson. And DC saved all of his curves. He's just thinking, you can do that for 3 more laps, mate. And I will take that second, which is actually first. Sam running very wide out of that corner. And DC MagiK now using all of his curves. He's going to get DRS again. He's going to the inside this time. And retaking second/net first place. EliteJoker gets his penalty taken away, which is fair play, as he gave back the position as well. And it's going to be a very interesting last 3 laps, Scott.
I'm not sure what's going through Sam's head, because surely he must know that every time he gets past on the first straight, he must know by now that DC's saving up all his curves and then getting past and getting DRS on the second back straight. Surely, hopefully these last 3 laps, it clicks with Sam and thinking, right, I need to change my strategy here. Don't try and put DC under pressure on the first straight and try and maybe make him think that I'm going to pass again and then set him up again for the second straight. But DC's going to keep saving that curves because he knows it's going to be coming for the second straight. So maybe Sam needs to get clever here in these last couple of laps. He's running out of time to make this happen. Of course, these guys are both unaware. They're fighting for the race lead here, effectively, not second place and second and third. Because Leobot is leading on the track, but he's got that 20-second penalty, which will push him down the order after the race. Of course, I'm not sure if even Leobot knows that yet, but we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. We're on board with Wrimz now. Sun begins to continually set here at Abu Dhabi and on this race, as Wrimz now will have slight bit of oversteer on the exit, but well controlled there from a Norwegian, and now using up all his curves to try and get back in within range of Kraggles. He has got DRS, but he's on rich mix, and he's within a lap of fuel back to lead mix 1. And pelosgt, he's coming as well, so you said he might be on course for a top 6, and he's in line to do just that now as they head down towards the complex. So Kraggles P5, Wrimz P6, and pelosgt P7. These guys fighting over the middle of the points positions. Back into standard mix 2, DRS again for Wrimz as he was close enough to braking. And pelosgt even closer to the outside down towards the complex. And will he be able to get it stopped in time? No, he won't. Over the AstroTurf, he'll have to give the place back wherever he's gone. He's disappeared somewhere, but again back to his battle. And Sam's up the inside already. Side by side off the exit. Is he going to use curves to try and get past again? And they literally, look at this. Nose to tail, wheel to wheel stuff. This is fantastic.
This is absolutely brilliant racing. We're on the penultimate lap. Sam's gone past again. He still hasn't learned his lesson, but he's actually got a little bit more of a gap than last time. DC saving all of his curves once again, but Sam's locked up. So he's missed the apex completely, compromised his exit. And now DC's going to have all of his curves once again. And surely we're going to see this Williams going straight past the Lotus Renault. DC MagiK has only won once this season at the Silverstone Grand Prix. Sam has yet to win. So these two are fighting like no other, and they think it's for second place. No, this is for the victory, lads. DC and Sam, and DC's back, but no, Sam's on the inside. This is great racing. Sam on the inside, they're now side by side, coming into this last sector. It's a very tricky downhill right-hander. Surely one of them's going to have to back out. I'm assuming Sam. DC still up the inside. Is Sam? He's actually pushing him wide slightly. Sam is off the track, but Sam's now up the inside. Oh my God, they're side by side throughout the entire last sector, and Sam takes, well, what is effectively the lead. Is DC going to try and hang it around the outside? Surely not. It's too tight of a right-hander. Sam cutting the corner slightly, but Sam going into the last lap is in a net first place. But who's that? Is that Tommyzz behind them?
It is.
Three-way horse.
I don't believe this. This is a three-way fight for the lead on the last lap of the Grand Prix. This is some of the best sim racing I've ever seen. So here we go. It's Sam and MagiK and Tommy now for the race victory. Who is going to get this? I have no idea how it's going to play here. Down towards the turn 5 and 6 chicane for the last time. And Tommy closes under braking. Sam's got a bit of a gap. He's half a second ahead, with Tommy a further just under 2/10 away. This is going to be so tense now off the back straight. Oh, and a slide there. Mistake from Sam on the outside of the curb. Now MagiK is within DRS range, easy into Rich Picks 3. He's on optimal fuel. Down the back straight for the last time. Into DRS range. But possibly Sam might be thinking here, if I stay behind it, I'll get DRS this time. Tables have turned now. Under brakes. For turns 8 and 9, Sam this time, he's in prime position. This is exactly what we've been saying all race. He needs to be here. So down onto the second back straight. Now, he's using all of his curves again. Sam in DRS range. This is it. It's going to be the run down towards the 11, 12 and 13 complex. This is too close to call, Matty. I can't believe this.
I can't believe it. And Sam's got on the inside. Is he going to make
it?
He's
got it.
There's a little bit of a corner cut maybe. I don't know. But Sam is actually taking the lead once again, or second place. But we're going to call it the lead. And we're now cutting to pelosgt in 7th, who's looks like he's hassling Wrimz, but we want to see the battle for the lead. And it looks like Wrimz is actually in lean. Look at the amount of fuel. He's actually run out of fuel, surely. Pelos up into 6th. Wrimz out braking Pelos into this tight chicane. But I really want to see the end of this race, to be honest, and the battle for the lead. Leobot's going to take the victory as far as I'm aware, but the actual battle for the lead is on. And here we go. Here's Leobot coming around the final corner now. He doesn't know it. He thinks he's won the race, but he has not, unfortunately. He's got a 20-second penalty. Sam in second place. He's going to take the victory, it looks like. Coming around the final corner, DC cannot do anything about Sam, who has driven a brilliant race. And what's that? Has he just run out of fuel, or has he let him through? I'm not too sure. Unbelievable scenes here. Either Sam's let him through because he corner cut at the chicane, or he ran out of fuel and DC just won it on the line, and Wrimz now hassling Craggles over the line for 5th and 6th. No.
And we're being told he let him through. He let him through, so that was actually just on the line. DC MagiK did actually gifted the win again by Sam, so that wasn't running out of fuel. He actually did slow down to let him through.
Unbelievable. I can't believe that. I'm not too sure why he let him through. Maybe it was due to that corner cut. There's a replay to come, apparently, I'm hearing in my ears, so it'll be great to see. But looks like EliteJoker, who... Gosh, what an action-packed race. But DC MagiK wins the race. Unbelievable. I can't believe that. He drove brilliantly, though. And here's the replay. So take us through it, Scott.
Let's see. Now, was there a corner cut through here? Let's have a little... let's see. Now, he's on the inside here, and that's the corner cut right there in the entrance to turn 11, which helped him just himself get his nose in front. But what an incredible race. I genuinely meant that. That was some of the best sim racing I've ever seen. 2-3 wide in the last couple of laps. Just take it to the results, Matty, because I think I can catch my breath from that.
DC MagiK takes the victory by 0.074 seconds from Sam, who let him through at the end. It's Tommyzz came out of nowhere to finish 2/10 back on the final podium place. Leobot, the race winner, finishing in 4th after the 20-second penalty. Craggles D in 5th, with Wrimz just behind in 6th place. pelosgt, a disappointing result for him in 7th, just missing out by 5/10 from 5th place. Togomies finishing in 8th after nearly being put upside down on lap 1. John B a disappointing 9th, with Wookie P coming home in the final points paying position. EliteJoker missing out on the points after losing his front wing. DefterTrout in 12th after an exciting race for him. Disco Rob did not finish, and Trintia Stock also, who has great pace, but after making that mistake into the hairpin on lap, I can't remember, it was about 1 or 2 I think, and taking out one of the drivers, it was not great from him, so he didn't finish either. And we had 2 drivers that didn't start. But the Drivers' Championship, so pelosgt looks like he's well and truly wrapped that up, even though he finished 7th place. It's Tommyzz in 2nd place, with DC MagiK, powerpuff and John B fighting it out for 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. EliteJoker in 7th, losing a place to Craggles D, with Trintia Stock didn't score, but he maintains his 8th position.
And then, of course, we'll see down the order in a moment, but Pelos, of course, he lost valuable points to Tommyzz, of course, getting that 3rd place. And DC MagiK, that victory has certainly helped him catapult up the order. Togomies is in P9, of course, with Disco Rob. Dude, where's my Jev? Not racing today. And that 2nd place for Sam has pumped him up. He's kept him in 12th. But, of course, only 3 points away from Jev, so he's just trying to get himself out of the relegation zone. And, of course, Leobot in 13th. And that win could have definitely helped him out in the points battle, because he's only 9 points ahead of Wrimz, with Wookie Pete and DefterTrout 15th and 16th. So DefterTrout, unfortunately, unless he gets a brilliant result, looks like he is going to go down. with Wookie P, and possibly Wrimz. If he doesn't improve, he's going to be going down to Formula 4 as well, unfortunately. Look at the Constructors' Championship. Force India actually still top with 325, despite a less than impressive race here in Abu Dhabi. And that second place for Sam puts now the Lotus Renault team into second place, keeps them there, and the win for DC MagiK puts them into third, with Toro Rosso slipping into fourth because of Ilya Bot's penalty, and also the fact that John was quite off the pace today, with Sauber fifth, Ferrari sixth, and then Red Bull and McLaren. But I think we've just about caught our breath from that one, Matty, because that was such an impressive race, and I'm so glad I got to commentate on that, because that was absolutely magic.
It was beautiful racing. There was a few incidents, but my gosh, that was exciting. I need to go and have a lie down. I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded from that. And I need to get my breath back, to be honest. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this incredible race around Abu Dhabi. The next race is the American Grand Prix. We're going to Austin, Texas. It'll be round 17. There's only a few rounds to go. Who's going to clinch third in the Constructors, because it's very close there, and it looks like pelosgt has well and truly got it rounded out in the Drivers' Championship, but I'm sure Austin, with a huge DRS straight, is going to promote a lot of overtaking. Thank you very much, Scott, for joining me in the commentary box.
No problem, it's been a massive pleasure. What a fantastic race, and I hope I'll see you guys again soon.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you next week for the American Grand Prix. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.